So I just want to record something really fast before I have to head off to Thanksgiving for my family. So happy Thanksgiving to those of you that celebrate. There's not going to be any editing or cuts or anything crazy with this video, but it's going to be important stuff. So I challenge you, Zoomer brains, to sit quiet and listen and think about what I have to say. Competition is fun. It is the very essence and nature of fun, even in solo sports, solo games. Improving yourself and beating yourself is exactly what makes competition fun. And winning or losing is not totally irrelevant, but it is mostly irrelevant. One of the big things that I always laugh at is when I get into a session with somebody and I ask them, what do you hope to get out of the session? Is they always say, oh, well, I want to win more. I want to lose less. And I always have to laugh at that because first off, I can relate with that. I've felt like that at points in time, but it's in of itself absurd. It's a stupid paradox where you want to win more, but by winning more, you're put into a higher bracket where you're more likely to lose more, all the way up to the very highest echelons of the game. You see, even in the Overwatch League, Violet, who's considered largely to be the greatest Overwatch League player of all time, made it to 2 grand finals recently and lost both of them. And does that really question his ability as a player? Well, not really. It's just the nature of competition. The better you get, the more you're going to be competing with the top tiers. And things are going to equal out to about 50% at some point. The competition is fun. Competition is what you want. Winning more or losing more is irrelevant. You want the competition. If you've ever played a game or a sport when somebody or a lot of people were not even trying, putting in zero effort in, I don't mean not sweating and try harding, but just putting in no effort at all, not very fun, right? It takes the fun of the game out of it. And sometimes your best memories of games, video games or sports, or even just board games with friends and family, it's going to be the most competitive or the most try hard, or people were going crazy and it was fun. It was intense. And those are the emotions that come from competition. You see, I never wish poorly on anybody that I'm playing versus. It always makes me sad when the enemy team has a lever because I know that the enemy team being good and challenging is what's going to make the game fun. And if I win, it's going to be what makes it feel super good for me. I mean, doesn't feel good to dominate somebody that's easy. It's playing terribly. It does feel good to dominate or win when they're playing well. And even if you lose, if you felt like you gave it a good go, that's fun too. Even in solo sports, if you're applying yourself to art or music, it's always a challenge to try and do better than the last time, to one-up yourself. The growth, progress mindset is not only, a productive, grind set, Sigma male thing. It's just fun. The fun is playing the game. See, it's funny because it's something that a lot of the times, ironically, kids get better than adults. It's more often the adults that I work with that have a lot of obsession of blaming teammates or people who are not communicating or working together. And, I'm just stuck and the kids just show up and they just play the ranked game all day long and get better. And they don't even really care. And they don't have goals and they don't self-auditing and they just show up and they just goof off and they screw around and they pick whatever. And they're oftentimes doing better than the old folks that are stuck in their ways because they just show up and they play the game. They show up to play the game. They have fun playing the game. They have fun competing. And they don't even think about it from a competitive win or loss standpoint. They just play. And so the irony here is that sometimes the maturity can kind of slow you down. So focus on this. Less lows from losing, less highs from winning. It shouldn't be, I want a sense of relief or a disaster if you lose. Just enjoy the game itself. Have more satisfaction from the process itself, the individual victories and progress, regardless of the outcome. You want the struggle. You don't want to have a 90% win rate. You might be something to brag about for right now, but at some point it's going to flatten out and that's what you want. That's what makes the game fun. There's a lot of people out there that go out there and buy unranked accounts and smurf and dominate people. Those people, I'm convinced, are respectfully mentally ill. I don't understand the appeal of that. That's not fun to me. It's the equivalent of showing up to a 5-year-old soccer game or football game, sorry, Europeans, and just absolutely, kick the crap out of little children. That's not fun. Who enjoys that? The failure and the risk involved is what makes fun fun. And if there is no risk and there is no competition, it isn't fun to me. The goal of going pro or getting better at anything isn't and really shouldn't necessarily to be just the rank itself or making it to pro. I think one of my good friends, Hadi, said it best that he never met a person in the Overwatch League that had the goal of making it to Overwatch League initially. That ended up being a goal as they realized that they were getting better, but oftentimes they just really liked Overwatch and played a lot of Overwatch. And I think that's the case for a lot of things in life. If you want to be good at something, you have to really enjoy it. It's not good enough to just show up and want to do it and grit and grind and grit your teeth and have to beat everybody else. You just have to love what you're doing. So I think reevaluate what you're doing. Reevaluate how you're approaching this video game. You want to rank up? Great. Apply yourself, set goals, do all the productive things that my channel has 1,000 tips on how to do better. But making sure that you're not missing the forest for the trees. It's not about the winning or the losing. It's about the competition. Enjoy the competition. Enjoy the process, because I promise you, you're going to look back and go, man, that was like, actually, I had the most fun when I was in plat or diamond and silver. It was grinding to improve and just focusing on one game at a time. You're going to miss these days where the fun was just in the process itself and not in the result, because the result is such a short, sweet thing. Anyway, happy Thanksgiving. Have a good rest of your weekend.